One Zambia, One Nation. Thanks for joining us on Zanis News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtale. The headlines: Government aged to lobby for more climate change funding at COP27. Farmers sensitized on FISEP. Pregnant lactating mothers empowered with gourds. Hailstorm damages over 40 houses in Shiwuyunji district. Zanis News in detail. Stakeholders have called on the government to establish partnerships that will result in the country having increased funding and collaboration for climate change solutions. An environmentalist, Mwene Himwinga, says as Zambia attends the Conference of Parties COP27 to be held in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, this November, there is need to lobby for more funds that will help the country mitigate the impact of climate change. Here are the details.
On the banks of Kafue River, Victor Mwaba cultivates. He applies fertilizer to his crops. Despite the devastating effects of climate change in Zambia and the rest of the world, Mwaba argues what he is doing right now cannot dry up this river. On several occasions, government has called to a halt any human activities closer to this water body.
Water sources will not be left vulnerable to the people that just go and squat there. Water bodies must be protected from any other interference, because this is not just for this generation.
These are some of the problems world leaders will be seeking solutions to as they meet in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh at COP27. And Zambia will be part of this United Nations Summit on Climate Change that runs from November 6 to 18, 2022, where discussions aimed at combating the devastating effects of climate change will be tabled.
Last year again we convened for COP26, where a number of issues and targets were set. So it's important to come back to these meetings and see, kind of do a review for the past 1 year to see if these targets have been made.
Others have made long-standing calls on the need for Zambia to establish partnerships at the summit that will enhance funding and collaboration for essential climate solutions.
So, of course, the number one thing that they're going for is to mobilize finances, climate justice issues. So we are hoping that funding will come through. And this is not funding that will be filled with bottlenecks, such that it will be very hard for, an average community leader or community group to do with climate change to access those funds. So we're hoping that at least the bottlenecks will be reduced, the bureaucracy that is involved with these monies will be reduced, because what happens is that when some monies are released, funding is released for climate change or mitigation programs, it's so hard for the locals to actually access that money. There's too many bottlenecks, in fact.
Into the funds, because there are funds that are available at the COP. So if we can have good negotiators there, we can have money that can come and help, solve the issues of deforestation in Zambia.
The world leaders are expected to put into action what was pledged during COP26 in Scotland last year. Frank Chingambu reporting. Zanis News.
In Eastern Province, President Hakainde Hichilema says his administration is determined to restore the credibility of traditional leaders around the country and work with them to stimulate development. President Hichilema says traditional leaders and government should work as partners to ensure that there is sound and sustainable development which will benefit all Zambians regardless of their social status. The president said this when he paid a courtesy call on Chief Sandwe of the Nsenga people in Lusangazi district. President Hichilema noted that government will provide chiefs with reliable transport and other necessities to enable them carry out their responsibility effectively. The head of state reiterated that government and traditional leaders should work as partners and not as competitors to deliver development and foster unity among Zambians. And Chief Sandwe praised President Hichilema for his humility, simplicity, and commitment to work with all Zambians in promoting development.
We want to work with the traditional leaders to do what? We want to reunite our country. Tibwereze ziko la Zambia pamoja. Number two, once we're a united country, with your leadership, with your support, your headmen and the people, then we can focus on the second important job to develop the country. Chitukuko, Your Royal Highness. That's our agenda. And in delivering Chitukuko, we want to work very closely, and I'm sure you've seen we've started already, with the traditional leaders as not competitors, no, but as partners. Kugwirizana, kusebenzera pamoja kuti vantu vatu vankale bwino.
I appreciate that, and that's why I'm saying we need our support so that we see that come to reality. Us as a community, we have a number of issues that we need you to help us address, and we shall entirely depend on your leadership that this come to pass.
Now, Zambia is among the 50 other low and developing countries in the world that have been receiving support for improved road safety activities from the United Nations Road Safety Fund, and a delegation from United Nations Road Safety Fund headquarters is currently in Zambia to monitor the various road safety activities that are also supported through the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the Road Transport and Safety Agency. Michelle Lubinda has the details.
Globally, road traffic accidents have continued to be one of the leading causes of deaths. According to the United Nations Road Safety Fund, most road crashes affect young people, adding that more than 90% of them take place in developing countries. This is why the fund, working with other stakeholders, is currently implementing 37 road safety programs in 50 developing countries, and Zambia is a beneficiary.
The UN Road Safety Fund was established in 2018, and we're a fund that funds road safety projects in low and middle income countries. Right now we have 37 projects in 50 countries, and we are here in Zambia to come and capture the impact of the road safety project focused on creating safer roads for non-motorized transport users. I'm much impressed with seeing how children are involved at a very young age, and in improving the behavioral change of people. We also have to start at a very young age, and seeing such a platform that is set where children can learn how to drive safely, they can learn on the road safety rules, they can learn on the do's and the don'ts at a very young age. I'm very much impressed, and I think this is something that should be replicated not only in African countries but everywhere else.
With the mandate to effectively coordinate road safety programs, the Road Transport and Safety Agency, RTSA, is also running a road safety school park aimed at imparting knowledge in school-going children on road safety at an early stage.
The facility actually has children from early education up to even 19-20 coming in to learn theory and practical lessons about road safety. So we get children from schools, from churches, from the community, even from orphanages to come through. They make an appointment, we make an appointment with them to come through and learn about road safety, to have a practical experience about road safety as well. So we want children we know that when you teach children while they are still young, the information will not depart from them. So we take advantage of this and have children come through to learn the skills of what they're supposed to do correctly on the road. So the response has actually been very overwhelming.
And the children visiting the school park are excited about the program.
So us as people, even if we don't use cars, we should still be careful. Because the road is very big. Some of us couldn't see a car, so we have to look, listen and think. I learned about road safety. On the road you shouldn't run. You should look right, left and look right again.
Raising awareness on issues of road safety is one of the effective measures to prevent the increasing numbers of road traffic accidents. Michelle Lubinda for Zanis in Lusaka.
Smart Zambia Institute and Zampos have signed a service level agreement aimed at establishing and implementing digital transformation centers in 150 post services offices across the country. Smart Zambia Institute National Coordinator Percy Chinyama indicated that the SLA between the two institutions will help to close up the existing digital divide in the country. In a speech read on his behalf by Acting Director Mulomba Hameja, Mr. Chinyama explained that the DTCs will serve as a way of bringing electronic government services closer to the citizens. Speaking at the same event, Acting Postmaster General Chewe Porter explained that the partnership between Zampos and Smart Zambia Institute is critical in strengthening collaborations that support the adoption of government e-services.
The partnership between the e-government division and Zampost through this service level agreement that we are signing today comes in handy to close up the existing digital divide in the country and ensure optimal usage of ICTs and e-services which should be deployed and delivered to the citizens.
I wish to confirm that this partnership is centered on the provision of digital transformation centers across all post offices. What this will entail is that the government services will be available to the Zambian people throughout the country without government having to spend so much. For instance, people in most rural areas can now access e-government services within the post office. Gone will be the days where somebody will have to spend money to come to a provincial center to access government services. They will now be in the post office.
And in agriculture news, Kapasa Makasa University in Chinsale District, Muchinga Province, has conducted its fourth fish harvest. Provincial Deputy Permanent Secretary Matthews Chilekwa has commended the university for promoting fish farming that allows the institution to have additional income. Here are the details.
It is the fourth fish harvest this year and the second from this pond that was stocked with 1,800 fingerlings in March. The fish harvesting of over 259 kilograms at Kapasa Makasa University in Chinsali District in Mchinga Province was witnessed by Mchinga Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Reverend Matthews Chilekwa.
What is happening here actually is best and terrific. We are appreciating this kind of culture. What we need is just to appeal to the society, even yourself, to take part of this kind of investment once in a while. Then when you have schools which are performing like this, inculcating knowledge of doing positive things in the country, this is the way to go.
And Kapasa Makasa University Chancellor, Professor Jacob Mwitwa, explains the university future plans.
In the initial phase of starting the program, we are hoping that maybe by 2024 we should have at least 60 of these ponds, so that our target is if we can raise a minimum of 1 million kwacha a month in income, that will go a long way towards our financial sustainability.
Branch Imbinde is fisheries and aquaculture technician at Kapasa Makasa University.
These fish were stocked on 28 March. They were 1,800 in number. That is our stocking rate that we are using here. 6 fish per meter squared. And this harvest is the fourth harvest in a year today. So we are expecting 200 kgs plus in this very pond.
Meanwhile, a fourth-year student at Kapasa Makasa University has encouraged youth to take up aquaculture courses.
My word of encouragement to the young people out there, let's try to venture into such courses because they are more practical. Even if you're not employed by the government out there, you're able to do things on your own. You can advise farmers on how to take care of the fish. You can actually make your own pond and survive from that.
Miriam Kwenda, reporting from Kapasa Makasa University in Chinsali District.
Still in agriculture news, Copperbelt Provincial Agriculture Officer Obvious Kabinga says government has not only made any changes that may disadvantage beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program, FISEP. Government has since embarked on sensitization meetings to help dismiss the rumors. Agrippa Silumbwe now reports.
There are among 10,000 beneficiaries of Farmer Input Support Program in Fanyama District, and government officials have taken time to cancel those who are supposed to be weaned off this year as per program guidelines, with a call to agriculture extension officers to do more sensitizations.
My word of appeal to the farmers, let's try by all means to understand that farming is a business. It's not something which you should always be receiving free things. first and foremost, the government cannot manage to see to it that they provide to each and every farmer year in, year out. We should be winning ourselves. Maybe a year or two we win out, others come in. So that we are trying to encourage our complex sectors that let them hold a number of meetings in their respective camps. But what matters, there is no way going to prevent something we haven't created the awareness with the farming community.
All camp officers should be where they are. Yes. And that circular was written, I think, a month ago, and we have not seen the action from DACO's office. So can we act?
Meanwhile, beneficiaries have a word of appeal to government.
Let's look at this in a positive way.
FISIP program is meant to boost agriculture activities among small-scale farmers in the country. Reporting, I'm Agrippa Silombwe, Kapabot Province.
In a related development, Lusaka Province Minister Sheo Muliata is in Rufunsa District to check on the implementation process of the Farmer Input Support Program, FISIP. Mrs. Muliata observes that the early distribution of farming inputs has met the expectations of farmers who are eager to start cultivation. More in this report.
Government has delivered the fertilizer for this farming season to Rufunsa District in Lusaka Province to help these farmers to start preparing their fields as the rains have already started. Rufunsa District Commissioner and Rufunsa Council Chairperson have expressed happiness that the early distribution of farming inputs for the 2022 and 2023 farming season is in line with the government's plans of boosting the agriculture sector for the people to be food secure and improve their livelihoods.
Happy to the government, the new Dawn government, what they've done. We've received the total requirement for base of fertilizer, which is 36,426 bags. They're already in stock, and we have in this shed where we're standing here, there's 12,426 bags. Then the other two sheds which are in Chinyoni, they are also having the 24,000.
Farmers are very happy about this, and even the procedures on how to acquire this, it has been well explained to the farmers. As we stand, the farmers, I think for the entire district, we have got 12,142 beneficiaries whom we are expected who benefit from the 2022-2023 seasons.
Lusaka Province Minister Sheo Muliata says she will embark on touring all her districts in the province to ensure that the fertilizer reaches all the expectant farmers.
That's why I'm here. We have to be sure, because this is their livelihood. This is their livelihood. That's why they get their food. That's why they get to support their children. So this is very important to the farmers. So we are working as a team. The new Dawn government, in Parliament yesterday, the minister said by November, end of November 2022, they should have finished the deliverance, even the paying to the farmers. So we are very happy with that.
The early distribution of farming inputs will help the country to continue having a bumper harvest, since agriculture is one of the key sectors which supports many Zambians. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Rufunsa District.
In Western Province, over 300 pregnant lactating women and mothers with children below the age of 2 years are set to benefit from the purchase of 700 goats under the Scaling Up Nutrition Program in Kalabo District. District Commissioner Musangu Njamba said this after flagging off the distribution. Here are the details.
Ensuring adequate nutrition among low-income groups, mothers, children and the vulnerable population remains a serious challenge today, as nearly 1 in every 2 children is stranded at the age of 2 years. To mitigate these factors, government through the Scaling Up Nutrition Program has engaged in various poverty reduction and empowerment programs for the vulnerable in rural areas. Kalabo District Livestock and Extension Officer Pomches said the Department of Livestock has trained about 150 women in goat rearing, adding that about 150 more women are yet to be trained and empowered with 2 goats each.
This is a project under Scaling Up Nutrition. That is MCDP2. So under Scaling Up Nutrition, we are considering pregnant women, lactating mothers, and mothers with children of 2 years. For these goats, we're talking about 144 farmers, but there's another consignment which is coming. But our total target number of farmers is about 320.
And Kalabo District Commissioner Msango Njamba said the New Dawn government was currently in the process of rolling out the goat distribution program in the entire district.
So I think so far so good. The people of Kalabo constituency, they are very, very, very happy with the New Dawn government for empowering them with the goats. Remember, we had very few goats in our villages. So for now, we have revamped and given them a lot of goats.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mchesa said the distribution of goats under the Scaling Up Nutrition project has since been extended from a few wards in Kalabo Central constituency to a total of 24 wards respectively.
Only selected wards where we were implementing Scaling Up Nutrition. So now there was an extension under MCDP2 where we've got 23 wards now, right? 24. Yes, 23 wards. 24 wards, yes.
Government has placed emphasis on social and economic empowerment programs in communities aimed at improving the nutritional status of mothers and reduction of stunted growth in children under the age of 2 years. Tinambewe for Zanis News, Kalabo District, Western Province.
Government says it intends to increase the number of beneficiaries under the 1,000 Most Critical Days program currently being implemented in Joma and Monze districts in Southern Province. Provincial Permanent Secretary Naman Monze says the move is expected to reduce stunting levels, which currently stand at 29% in the region. Let's take a look at this report.
Government, working with the German Development Corporation, is implementing a program dubbed the 1,000 Most Critical Days. This is aimed at reducing malnutrition in children below 2 years through the Scaling Up Nutrition initiative. The German Parliamentary Committee on Food and Agriculture has visited selected program areas in Southern Province to appreciate the project impact on the beneficiaries.
And we are very much impressed how well you have implemented the projects and the support initiatives. From the start of conception, the child is protected in the womb and then later until the second birthday. So this is really the best you can do to give children a good start in life so that they can lead a healthy and good life.
This visit guarantees continued support.
Die Delegation wird sich in Deutschland im Deutschen Bundestag.
And we will work towards Zambia continuing to get help and support in the German Parliament.
Meanwhile, the provincial administration intends to scale up the number of beneficiaries under Scaling Up Nutrition.
A child who has been brought up in the most critical days means they will have a very good mental capability. They will be able to learn and they will be able to support the communities when they grow up. And this is why most of these activities you have seen that are happening, we now plan to scale them up as a province so that even the children who are not in the project area can benefit.
Ronia Sakala, Zanis, in Choma, Southern Province.
And finally in the news, more than 40 houses of Shamulamba Wombats and Shimateta village of Nampundwe ward in Shibunji district in Central Province have had their roofs blown off following a hailstorm. District Commissioner Alfred Shaputu says the hailstorm experienced on Tuesday also left Nampundwe area without electricity following the collapse of some ZESCO power lines. Mr. Shaputu says other things that were affected include livestock and goods in various shops, while 250 people have been left homeless. He, however, revealed that no life was lost during the storm, but that 2 people were injured and currently receiving medical treatment. And Nampundwe Ward Councillor Rachel Mobita has called on government to help the affected families. As we conclude Zanis News, we take a look at the stories that made headlines. Government aged to lobby for more climate change funding at COP27. Farmers sensitized on FISEP. Pregnant lactating mothers empowered with goats. Hailstorm damages over 40 houses in Shivuyunji district. Thank you so much for your time. Now remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. My name is Juliet Mtele saying bye-bye and God bless.